latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a review video on a product from Outwell. So with me today, I've got the Outwell Hayward Lake 4 ATC, the 5 ATC and the 6 ATC. So basically this video reviews on the whole Hayward Lake range. With me today, I've got the brand new size I've introduced, which is the 4. So essentially it's all the features are exactly the same, just it's a slightly smaller size, i.e. a bit more a 4-berth. It's worth mentioning that essentially we've got essentially a sort of like a 2.5 free zone tent, sleeping, living, and kind of a nice big canopy area that's open. Now, with the 5 and the 6 model, it's almost got a double sort of living area, so it's a double bay section. But like I said, as we go through this video review, we kind of touch on little different points as such. So between the models, there's about a 40 centimeter difference between, say, the 4, which is 310. Then you've got 350 for the 5 and then 390 for the 6 in terms of width. They also do gain in length as well, so you can pick and choose per person a bit more space. Interestingly enough, that essentially the best room per person in the terms of ratio is actually the 4. You know, you've got 70 centimeters per person, whereas you go all the way up to the 6, you only get about 60 centimeters per person. So it's interesting that that actually differentiates between the range. What we've got is this sort of technical cotton, or ATT fabric. So essentially it's a polycotton material, really nice and breathable and also nice and durable. The joys of polycotton is actually on warm weather, it actually allows the weave of the fabric to expand, allow air to pass through, so you get a lot cooler kind of feeling on the inside. On the flip side, out on a cold day, the weave contracts and keeps the warmth in. So you get the best of both worlds, plus you get certainly a longer lifespan out of it. It's more of a natural fabric and you get a less sort of synthetically kind of flapping noise as well. So you do pay more for it, and obviously that does kind of reflect certainly in the price point of it, but it's a more substantial fabric than normal polyester. It's also worth bearing in mind that it's a slightly heavier material and a little bit bulkier, so it all comes with the pros and cons, and we've got a separate video versus sort of polyester versus polycotton which you can check out if need be. We also, with the Hayward Lake, we've got kind of this really nice open kind of canopy. There's a steel pole included with the canopy itself, and you just zip that in kind of once the main body's up. And we can check out our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video. It's myself pitching this very model. Took me the best part, I think, about 10-11 minutes. So it means it's brilliant for small weekends or even longer trips, just because of the time it takes to put up. Naturally, the bulk of it in terms of size, because it's that polycotton material, and you've got essentially a steel pole, it is a little bit heavier than you probably would come to expect, to be fair. Each beam is done individually, and it's got its own inflation point, which also, in fact, is its deflation point as well. We've got webbing storm straps off the front and the back to get great torsion into the roof, and there's additional kind of roof bracer beam for the bedroom section as well, just to really help get that looking nice and pucker and help rain to slope off quite happily. Beautiful PVC windows that are built into the canopy section as well, and when you've got it kind of double bayed with the 5 and the 6, you'll also have windows built in there as well. Curtain wise, we've got a really nice zip up curtain, so again it gives an ultimate amount of privacy. We'll swing the camera around a little bit and look down the barrel a little bit further after we talk for a few more features. Thing for me I do like is the front pole is quite easy to put in. Essentially it's got a zips that go all the way around, so you can quite happily just kind of undo it, slot it in, pull it in and pull the back over. So, and again, you can see that kind of a little bit from our video. Internal height wise as well, it's really quite spacious. You know, I'm about 6'2", and you see how sort of tight that canopy door is. It works really, really nicely. With ventilation is obviously key, so what we've got on certainly the 4 is we've got 2 side doors, which is the same with the 5 and the 6. You've got mesh panel built into both of those side doors as well, so you can have really great airflow. So, you know, to be fair, most of this, the sides and the front, is all pretty much doors. So for an airflow, it's brilliant. For me, I see probably the 4 being for those ideal for a couple or a small family. The 5, admittedly, I would say it's more really, again, a family of 4. You want a little bit more space, and then the 6 is again a very generous 4, or really a 5. I don't foresee you really cramming 6 people in there. Firstly, for a premium tent with a premium fabric, really you probably want a little bit more space individually rather than being sort of stacked on top of each other. It sits in kind of Outwell's Imperial collection, which is kind of their top of the range they do, so hence why there's a lot of features built onto here that we don't see further down Outwell's collection. We've got a really nice big ventilation point at the back as well to help increase airflow. All of the pegging points down the bottom are webbing straps, so you get great tension as well as adjustment. And also you've got this kind of floating guy line kind of system where you've got 2 tones with adjustable points there. So that works really, really nicely. You can actually enclose the front of it by buying additional front awning. Admittedly, it's in polyester, but it still allows you to attach it on from this point. And again, we've got a separate video. You can look at that about how you put on kind of the universal awning and enclose that section. Let's kind of swing the camera around a little bit and look straight down the front of it, and we can talk through a few more bits about it. So now we're looking straight at the actual tent itself. We can see this kind of front door scenario. So what we've got is a really quite nice and versatile door. Because you've got this canopy, you've got a very flat door, so it means internally it's quite spacious. You've got your rain shelter away from here. It's always a nice area to sort of cook underneath, just that a little bit of protection against the wind and the rain. The front door as well, we've got essentially is 4 zip pullers in total. So what you can actually do is move, if we can find the actual zip pullers, there they are. You can create a little veranda kind of style built into it like so. And actually with the 4, you've also got this really nice full-on mesh panel behind it as well. So you have a little bit of protection and privacy, but it'll still allow airflow to work in it really nicely as well. This main door can open from right to left or left to right, depending on which you prefer. And there's little retainer points at either side. So what I'm going to do now is just move this door open. So we can open it up, roll it back kind of halfway by also pegging like so. So you've got half mesh, half normal door, built-in window as well. The windows are also worth mentioning are full-on zip-up and down curtains. So it gives you the benefit that you can almost bring the window section down, again halfway, fold over. So you've got a little bit of vision into it, but still that level of privacy. So you've got lots of flexibility there. Failing that, when we put the window directly up, we can open the panel up completely. So if you want to bring the outside pretty much fully in, we'll bring all the zip pullers directly down to the bottom. Caught myself there. Someone before me has decided to ram this in the zip. Lovely. There we go. So by opening it up there, by removing the front panel, you can see we've got that full-on mesh panel built into the side of it. With this, I can actually be a bit lazy and fold it kind of in, just creating a bit more of an open kind of canopy section. And then we've got that full mesh barrier. You can see big front mesh door, big side mesh doors, great for keeping the ventilation in. And you've got a little bit of place on an evening that with lights on, the bugs aren't kind of going to interfere. Failing that, of course, we can open that up, step ourselves kind of inside. This kind of can be also toggled back into position if you wanted to, and you've got a zip that runs along the ground, so it's a really good thorough attachment. That's one thing I do quite like about it, is that all of the mesh doors, you've got a solid seal on the bottom as well as around the top, so it is quite comprehensive. And then you can tie that back, or again, being lazy as I am, this front lip can then drop down, so you've got a trip-free hazard in and out of the actual tent itself. There's a little bit of extra PVC as well, so when that's laid flat, the zip's not going to get full of mud. Now we're inside of it, you can kind of get a bit more idea for kind of the overall space in here, and the floor is quite compact, and it's designed to be something for smaller families, like I said, or couples, or something that wants something not too big, but big enough. Enough room for a table and chair set quite happily. And then if you go for the 5 or the 6, obviously you get an extra bay, so this area in here doubles. And of course the width also then increases as well. Great interior height. Like I said, I'm outside 6'2", I can stand quite happily in here. Actually the 4 is quite boxy. I think as we get further up the range and get wider, we kind of get a little bit further away from the sides of things. So this one definitely feels sort of very much kind of house kind of like. Now in the bedroom scenario here, we've got essentially a 4-berth bedroom. Like I said, we've got a 180 and 140 and 140 split. When you go up to the 5, it's a 140, 180, and then the 6 is 180, 180. So you can pick and choose kind of how big you want it to be. The front panel itself has a really nice big mesh part built into it to increase airflow into the actual awning. And again, you've got a really nice kind of cottony polycotton kind of inner tent to match the actual outer fabric. Also, it's worth mentioning the fact that you've got on the right hand side here, at least anyway, in normally what tends to be the master bedroom, is Attwoll's quick and quiet feature. So its ability to kind of walk in and out of the actual bedroom without having to use the zips, and then the door happily kind of closes behind you. Perfect for going away, you know, if the kids are asleep, you want to get yourself, you know, a good night's sleep, you can quite happily get yourself in and out without having to physically open the zips. If you don't want to use that kind of function, all you can do is just zip that directly down, so you haven't got to use it. It's just there as an extra bonus, and then you just use it in a conventional door kind of manner. So roll that back, and that section then will toggle back like so. Between the sections of the Hayward Lake, you find there's a zip divider between. So it's zipped down the sides, but then on the bottom it kind of just rests down. So there's a little bit of a gap underneath. Zip that base up a little bit more. From here, like I said, you've got enough headroom height to stand up inside of it. Storage pockets down the side, not only on the front as well. A cable entry point at the front here as well, so you can get mains hook up into the tent. And you've got the same on both sides. So again, actually there's no cable entry point on that one, but pockets inside and out works really well. Perfect for keys, phones and storage, things like that. Hanging point for a lantern as well, as need be. A big mesh panel at the back which reflects onto the mesh out the back. So what you can actually do is look through in the bedroom out to the outside of the campsite, see what's going on, and keep an eye on the kids wherever they may be. Bracer beam, as I previously talked about as well, and what you've also got is Outwell's hook track system built onto this beam here, which is perfect for hanging lanterns and then running the cables down the sides. You can almost use it for a little storage organizer to hang down as well, but so let's pick the camera up and have a little bit of a look inside of it. So as we come inside, you can probably get a bit more idea for certainly the window space in there. It looks really, really smart. Slightly deeper bedrooms as well, it's worth mentioning, about 230 depth. Means you can get camp beds in a bit easier, and there's a bit more of a flatter back to it. So what you find is actually that when the further the bed goes out the back, you're more inclined to get that vertical wall, and then you can see that mesh panel behind, and you can probably just about see it there. There's your kind of extra vent, which you can bring out quite nice and neatly. Zip dividers down each end, which works really well. And again, the storage pockets built into the front. Colour coordinated bedrooms, so it's easy to identify what's going where, and that's that extra bracer beam. And we've got the mesh with the little cable entry point down there as well, which works quite nicely, so you can enter the cable without having to leave the door fully open. As we kind of come out, we'll kind of have a little wander around the actual tent and get a bit of a feel. These other things I do quite like is that there's little retainers for kind of the guy ropes, so if you want to tuck them away nice and neatly when you leave, you can do so. Then you've got the mesh door. So like I said, double base, that where that mesh door is, there'll be an extra panel where you put the windows. That's a little vent at the back here, so that vent can actually unzip. So you can have it like we have here with a bit of airflow. You can actually unpeg it and leave it open constantly with a little kind of puller. Failing that, you can zip it up and get a bit more thoroughness to it. But you see how taut that roof looks, thanks to kind of the storm straps at the back and also that bracer beam. But it's a small but little model. Compact, still looks really nice. And I do love the kind of the royal blue of the kind of material and how it looks and how it kind of feels. So I think for me, I really think the 4 is a great option. I think for me, the best seller in out of the 4, 5 and 6 is going to be probably the 5, just because I think it's the best of both worlds in terms of size, space, and also I think price point. But for more information, check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to our website. We've got more information on pack sizes, pack dimensions, floor diagrams, individual features all spelt out for you, so you can always check that out as well. But all in all, I think it's a nice model, something a little bit different as well. It's big without being too big. It's probably the best way. And I think the 4 is a really nice addition to the Hayward Lake collection for the 22 season. But let us know what you think of it by commenting in the box below. Any more questions, you do feel free to contact us via our email address. But yeah, that's our little video review on the sort of brand new / updated Hayward Lake 4 ATC 5 and 6.